To make the budget a little more palatable, we decided to take it out of the dull walls of Parliament, just down the road to one of Cape Town's most vibrant places, Charly's Bakery. Manager Roch Schollij explains that baking, like a credible budget, is all about balance.
So well, anything that is out of balance, any too much of one thing or too little of another, will basically it'll make your cake flop.
Our medium-term budget cake begins with the short crust base. It's the foundation that determines the size and structure of the cake. Just like government's fiscal policy and framework, which has to be sound and solid. The main ingredient, cream cheese, represents the bulk of any budget, tax revenue. It's an absolutely essential ingredient, but isn't enough on its own. That's why eggs are important, the binding and setting agent that fluffs up the cake. A perfect analogy for the loan available to government to make up for shortfalls. Caution has to be exercised though. But what happens when you have too many eggs? So in other words, you widen that deficit.
Well, the problem with too many eggs is you get a quiche. And no one likes a quiche cheesecake.
Then sugar is added. It sweetens the cake and stabilizes the tastes. A good illustration of solid public-private partnerships. Good partnerships between government and business spur on growth and create a healthy economy. Baking powder allows the cake to rise, the same as any job creation policies or projects. Pravin Gordhan will undoubtedly refer to the President's Infrastructure Development Plan as an example. The baking tin is law, order and stability, providing support while the cake grows. If the tin is damaged, it could spell disaster for the cake. The spate of mining strikes are a definite threat to the budget tin. Finally, the oven represents the global economic climate, which has to be at the right temperature for good growth. Once baked, it's up to government to divide the revenue by slices. It's then decorated to make it more enticing, just as the finance minister has to present an attractive, credible budget. It's clear to see government spending priorities from this perspective. You can see that education and health get the biggest pieces of the pie. But the real proof of the pudding is how government spends the money. It can either go to making some fat cats fatter, or it can be a cake that all South Africans can benefit from. Paula Chowles, Cape Town.